Welcome back to the Walking Dead series by The Verdict's End. I'm your host, Nicole.
I'm Gary.
And we are talking about the season premiere, the final season of The Walking Dead, season 11, episode 1, entitled Acheron, which I looked up just to figure out how to pronounce, but I can't remember now if that's the correct way. I believe it is, but it just pretty much means like a body of water, like underground body of water, and then there's like maybe a god of Acheron, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess because they were in that sewer type thing the whole episode. So we are so happy to be back. It's been about 3 months since the season finale.
We're back, y'all. And we're back, y'all. And we're biggity back, and we are back, y'all.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
And I'm very disappointed that we didn't get to do an instant cast Sunday night.
Technical difficulties.
It started off with me being the technical one where I took a nap and then blah, blah, blah. So by the time we finally watched Walking Dead,
A nap.
I took a nap thinking it was like 2 hours before The Walking Dead came on.
You took a hibernation.
Yeah, I was sleepy. I don't know how. I was so sleepy Sunday. And by the time I woke up, it was like 10 o'clock. I'm like, oh, we missed it. Forget it. And then like went back to sleep.
10 o'clock?
Well, no, that was the first wake up. Then went back to sleep. And then woke up again, like almost 12. And I'm like, okay, it comes back on.
12?
Shush. It came back on.
That was the second wake up.
That was the second wake up. So we didn't finish watching. We did watch Sunday night, but it was by about like 1:30 by the time we finished. And then we were still going to do the instant cast. But then the computer, we had issues. And by that point, it's 1:30 in the morning. You're tired and you're just like, forget it. The computer, I don't remember what exactly was going on. The computer just wasn't working. So here we are. Sorry about that. But we loved the episode. And we can't wait to talk about it right now.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So any overall thoughts, Gary, before we get into our likes, dislikes, and everything like that?
This episode was better than the whole last season.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I had no problem watching it.
Let me take that back.
Mm-hmm.
The last episode of last season was the best episode of last season. And this is kind of trumped that.
It definitely trumps the I don't know if it was called Here's Negan or whatever it was, the Negan flashback storyline. I enjoyed this one much better.
You know, I wasn't thinking about that.
No, I wasn't thinking about it, but since now you brought it up, saying comparing this to last season, I enjoyed this one better.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, because even when
I was thinking of the princess. Her storyline.
Princess is the best. I know. I'm like thinking, why didn't they get her seasons ago?
Right.
And I'll tell you who was a star character to me.
Who?
Eugene. I know I'm jumping around right now. I don't know if he's in my likes or not. But Eugene had me cracking up the entire time.
Yeah. When
he knew all his zip codes, I was just dying. I was like, oh my gosh, Eugene is like that type of person, like the teacher's pet. You know what I mean? He is going to know all the answers. Yes, Mrs. So-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I got my homework. And it was just funny this episode. And then, because then Princess was on the whole opposite end of the spectrum. She's like, physicals? What's the fuck? I haven't had a physical ever.
Right.
It was just so fun. I mean, it was sad, though, if you think about it.
Why you gonna make it sad?
No, because they were like, what about your parents? She's like, dirtbag one, and you know.
That was sad.
And I was like, oh, that's so sad. So, all right, let's get into it then. I enjoyed the mission scene at the beginning. It was kind of like Mission Impossible, like some covert operation. And you see them quietly dropping down. And all the military walkers are kind of like asleep. And they're grabbing the food. And then they have to fight them. I liked that whole scene.
I loved it. I think this is the first time we've seen dormant. I think that's the word for it.
Dormant walkers. No,
walkers.
No. We've seen dormant walkers before.
Well, I mean, in this mass.
Yeah,
this
that many. Yeah.
This is the first time we've seen dormant walkers. And it kind of give us like insight of what it would look like after the walker been walking around so long with no food. Like, hey, there's nothing happening here. Let me just die down, go to sleep. I love this. I love the scene.
Yeah. We got a couple dormant walkers because they were dormant, and then later on with Maggie and them, those walkers were sort of...
Yeah, I think this was the episode for that.
Just dormant walkers.
Right.
Yeah. And later on, the Maggie one where they're in the tunnel, that reminded me of the scene, I want to say back in like season 3, it might have been anywhere between season 3 and season 5, when they went to the hospital, I think looking for Maggie's little sister, Beth. I want to say her name is Beth. And I think it was that scene. I don't know. But there were walkers like in tents. And you know what I mean? They were asleep. and some had like, I think, bags over their faces or something, and they had to kill them. Do you remember that? Like, that reminded me of that as well.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
But I liked it. I know you at first, we were kind of both saying like, I'm all for like the girl power, and I love the, let girls can do anything. And
yeah, it was kind of too Marvel for me.
Too Marvel. It's been a little done, like, we get it, girl.
And then we just seen it recently on, what was it? Snake Eyes.
Oh yeah, they did it on Snake Eyes, where
right.
It's like all the women get together and it's like, we can fight you too.
Right.
Marvel did it. They did a good job when they did it. Here, it was just a little too much, but then I think we watched.
I don't think it was too much. I think we've already seen this.
Yeah, but at the end, they said the only reason why all the ladies went down is because they were lighter than the men, which makes sense.
Well, you said that. You said it the next day.
Yeah. Although I still question how like kids are going down, but I guess no one's a kid anymore. Like Lydia, is that her name? Like, how is she going down? I don't know. She was a kid,
I'm surprised Daryl didn't go down.
Yeah.
Daryl looks kind of light.
Yeah, Daryl, I mean, he seems like he weighs around the same amount as any one other girls that were there, ladies that were there.
Same amount as Maggie.
Yeah, or Alden. Let me stop. I'm not here to like take people's weight. But all I'm saying
we're not doing
is
weight.
that
We're just saying Daryl's a small guy.
Yeah, small guy. So is Alden, which it was funny because Negan did make that joke later on.
Oh yeah, Alden.
Yeah.
Alden's a small guy too.
Yeah.
Leprechaun just zoom him on down.
No.
Zip him back up.
Don't do Alden like that. I like Alden. All right, Aaron and Rosita calling Maggie's plan crazy. Too bad we didn't get much of them for the rest of the episode, but so many times we've seen on The Walking Dead where they're having discussions and no one speaks up or no one calls bullshit on the plan. And this time we got that. Like Rosita was like, "Nah, that's a dummy mission. We're not doing that." So,
Yeah, it was a dummy mission.
Yeah, it definitely was. And I'm surprised all the food they just got. How is there only 1 week's worth? All that food?
I don't believe it's 1 week's worth. I'm just not, and I hate to say this right now, I am not a Maggie fan right now. I'm not. And I started questioning her last season. If you had all this drama and everything was going on, why would you bring them back to us?
Right.
You could have went around the world to take them that away.
Right. Why would you take them in place? Oh, let me take them to my family where they can help me.
Right. Maggie doesn't feel like one of us anymore, and that's because Maggie left.
Yeah.
And I understand the reason, so don't get me wrong. I'm not a heartless person. I understand that Negan took the father of her son. I understand that. When Maggie left, she left on her own, with her own will.
Yeah.
She left, and she left in real life. Like you said last season, like it must be hard humbling yourself to have to come back, but she left. And I just don't feel like she's one of us, and I really do not trust her character this season.
You know what? When she came back last season, I was happy to see her. I don't know if I distrust her, but I guess at the same time, I don't fully trust her either.
I don't trust her at all. And I started last season. I don't want you to think that I just started not trusting her.
Yeah.
But I mentioned it before. I said, why would she bring these people back here?
Right.
I do not trust her.
Yeah, she said some troubling things. Well, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, especially with Negan saying all the stuff that Negan was saying. Maybe that's getting in my mind, because when she told the story of how the people it slaughtered their whole, the whole clan or whatever while they were out, and when they came back, everyone was dead. They barely made it out themselves, and she's like, so she said they always attacked at night or something, until one day one of them attacked, but it's like still. You're speculating. You don't know if the guy that came last season that killed himself was one of them. And then it was almost when she said Daryl was with me, it was almost kind of like he can collaborate my story. I'm not saying it's something deeper and darker. I'm not saying, I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm just saying when she said that.
You know what you're saying.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
Because you know what you're saying.
I'm just saying when she said, for whatever reason, when she said it, I took note. When she was like, Daryl was with me. You know how you always have to have like that person, your alibi, your collaborator, someone that's like, oh yeah, they saw it.
Yeah, especially when you're lying.
Well, that's mostly when you need it. So I did get a weird feeling when she said that.
Yeah, Nicole saw it too.
Right. I'm like, wait, why'd you put me in it? Like, why you putting me in your story? So yeah, we'll see. All right, Negan's new demeanor. I mean, he's chill. He's reasonable. I actually like his new look too, like how he's keeping his hair, his beard. But I just really like this new Negan. It shows you what happens of 6 years in jail. what could happen the right way of being 6 years in jail? Because he could have came out worse, but it shows you rehabilitation is possible, and he does seem rehabilitated. He seems like he's more mature. I mean, not only is just he older. Really older.
Well, is he? Is he more mature or is he humbled?
Aren't they the same sort of? You got to be mature in order to be humble. Someone immature is not going to be humble. So it takes maturity to be humble.
No, anybody can be humbled. I just think Negan is humbled. He's not in control anymore. He's not the Negan he was. He doesn't have the Negan nights. You see, even the saviors that used to be with him, they show him no respect.
Yeah. That's when Alden. Because Alden was the savior. Remember that.
Right. So Negan need to bring us some old stories.
What did Alden say? I'm going to gag you. I'm going to slap you.
Yeah, he said something.
And then Negan said, get on your tippy toes and try. Yo.
Because Negan know who he was.
He said that off the top of his head. It was like he didn't even have to think about it. He looked at him and was like, well, get on your tippy toes and try, little man. That was funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like this new Negan. He's calmer. Sometimes the other Negan was just so animated. Think of whenever he came, I don't know, season 6. Like, think of season 6, maybe even that season 7 Negan where he was like so extra and animated and like he's just really chill. And I like the chillness because there's only so much of that personality you can take when he's the opposite way.
I think if it was only him with a personality, I think Walking Dead went too far when they started making other people with a Negan personality.
Yeah, Simon, you know, yeah.
You know, everybody want to take extra long, hesitate, move from side to side.
Right.
You know, do the Negan.
I mean, hey, everyone loved Negan, so everyone started acting that way. And they're like, let me put a little Negan in my acting. All right, next like is Negan, again, when he said, the good Lord direct your one eyeball to this. Man, Negan is so funny. Negan, because he said that to Gabriel after Gabriel said, Negan said that noise is a warning from God to tell us to turn around. And Gabriel said, I think he would have told me first. Like, I'm sorry. I want to say, shut the fuck up, Gabriel.
What the hell do you mean?
Are?
And I don't mean hell in a good way. What the hell do you mean?
God would have told you first because you're what, like a pastor or priest or whatever. And I call bullshit on Gabriel's like outfit being so clean. Like the pastor thing, the collar.
You got to keep it clean.
That thing was whiter than white this episode. I'm like, that looks brand new. Like, come on. That sucker was cleaner than clean. So,
it was. I'm
like, y'all should have not got a new one. You should just kept using whatever was on set because that would have been more realistic.
But I hate bringing up people past. Mm-hmm. I hate bringing up the past, especially when, he repented already.
Yeah.
But the man who left his congregation.
The man who left his congregation to die.
Because he was scared. Now he's saying God would have ran it past him first.
And ain't it crazy that there's always a real Pastor Gabriel out there? Because did you hear about Joel Osteen? I ain't trying to get too political, but he did some fucked up shit like that too. When there was some stuff going on in, I think it was Texas.
Okay, you talking about he let people in the dome?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily his own congregation, but it was on some Pastor Gabriel type of.
I don't think it was the same thing.
Yeah, well, Pastor Gabriel was worse because he actually listened to them die.
There was no zombies out there.
Yeah. Well, then who's worse? Yeah, I don't know who's worse then. I don't know because Pastor Gabriel at least did it out of fear. Joel Osteen did it out of like, man, I don't want y'all to mess up my shit. Like, I don't know what's worse, Both are pretty bad.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
One didn't want rain getting in, the people getting in, messing up the stuff. Yeah. And it's pretty serious. But you know what's even more crazy?
Huh?
Pastor Gabriel's my favorite person on the show. He's my favorite person.
He ain't my favorite. I mean, I don't dislike Pastor Gabriel. I just wouldn't go as far as saying I like Pastor Gabriel.
I'd probably go to his church.
I couldn't go to his church. Sit there with that clean old pastor suit on. I don't trust you.
Pastor Gabriel, don't do me like you did your last congregation. I'm here for you, Pastor.
Nah, Pastor Gabriel cool. I don't dislike him. I just don't like him. All right, so the interviews, and I kind of already talked about this, but Princess and Eugene, they were very entertaining, and then Princess's $2 bill story from her first job, and I liked hearing that story, because I think we've all wanted a $2 bill, because at least back in like the 90s, early 2000s when you were a kid, like $2 bill was always considered like a rare thing, even though I don't think they're as rare as we were made to believe.
Right.
But like, I remember like you had a $2 bill, like that's so, I mean, we have a $2 bill somewhere around here that, you know, it's like, oh, it's cool, you have a $2 bill. So like, I related to her story when her saying like, hey, when I got my first paycheck, I asked for a $2 bill. That was something big for me.
Yeah.
I do wonder what it relates to as far as the bigger story, because they had a bucket, like a whole thing. I don't know if it was all $2 bills or if it was just money in general that they had. Did you see that?
I didn't see it. When
they were escaping, when like they were set up as the troopers, the fake troopers, and they were escaping, right before she saw Yamako's picture, there was a big old carton of money. And I'm like, are those all $2 bills? And then if so, what does this mean?
I mean, it's no value. There's no value to money right now.
But then why would they bother collecting it?
That's a good question.
Unless they're using it for other purposes. Make fires, burn.
I mean, I think that's what it was showing us, that it's no value.
Yeah.
Put it right here. I mean, why do you want it back? No one's going to touch it. No one's going to touch it. No one needs it right now.
Yeah. Now, it was funny also when they asked, have any of you been arrested? And Eugene was like, no, he said that about the drugs thing. He's like, I was on the anti-coalition drug thing at my school. And Princess, I think when they said, did you ever get arrested? Princess was like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I just love those interviews.
I think she said it wasn't her fault.
Yeah, it wasn't her fault. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Which we all been there.
Yeah.
We all been arrested. It wasn't our fault.
Let me explain something. What happened was, so, all right, Eugene, him knowing all his zip codes, knowing when he had his measles vaccine was...
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was funny. Even though now, post-COVID or COVID, in the world of COVID, if you're getting the vaccinations, that is sort of a vaccine that you would sort of somewhat have an idea of when you got versus like a regular vaccine.
I mean, what was the date you got yours?
Well, I don't know the exact date, but
then.
It was in May. I got it in May and then again in June. Like if you ask me any other vaccine, I have no clue what year, what month, anything. And maybe 10 years from now, I won't remember these either, but I probably will.
I mean, my thing is him remember the exact day.
I think it was funny.
The date. Yeah. It was.
I mean, because don't you get your measles vaccine when you're a kid, too? So, I don't know. He, like, paid attention to his immunization card.
But then again, Eugene's a liar.
Yeah,
Eugene
and he's good at
lying.
Liar.
Good liar.
Yep. All right, so the power trip cop or the guy that's in charge, what's your thoughts on him, initial thoughts right now?
I'm surprised the king knew who was in charge. But then again, the king is the king.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was sitting back there, not saying anything. I just thought he was security.
Yeah.
But he was dressed different.
Yeah, with the orange.
Or red, whatever. Yeah, he's dressed different. So it was a good call out by the king. Like, you're in charge. You've been sitting back there, not saying anything, listening. And the guy admitted, like, yeah, I'm in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder what's that about? Like, what information he's trying to get. I wonder, are these the good people, the bad people? I mean, right now I'm thinking they're the good guys. They're not trying to bring just anybody in their community. And Eugene, he made a good call out to Michonne. He said Michonne put people out for less.
Right. Didn't let anybody in. No interviews or anything. Just didn't let y'all in.
Yeah, because our homegirl messed up.
Yeah. The weirdest story.
Yeah, that was a weird story. But one friend messed up and you don't let anybody in.
I mean, that's how it is, though, in real life. You get screwed over once. What is that? Shame. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. So.
No, it's the opposite.
Is it the opposite?
Yeah, it's the opposite.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I just had a Michael moment from the office. He would say something like that. All right. Whatever the saying is, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right. I thought about the guy. I didn't notice him. I mean, I didn't pay attention to him first time. And then the second time now, knowing that he was in charge, I did notice that, the camera did pin on him a little. It did show him it did show him like listening in.
Yeah.
So, but I did think it was cool that not Pastor Gabriel, the king paid attention, because it's something I didn't notice at first.
Yeah.
Now, did the king lie about his situation?
He did lie.
Okay, because he said it so honestly. I was like, I misunderstood the king's medical situation, because he said it with such a straight face. Yeah, I was like, I misunderstood that. I didn't know he had it since he was a kid.
Well, he admitted he lied
when they were talking.
Right.
Yeah, but I was like, no, he told them he's had it since. I mean, he fooled me. That's how good he lied. Because I was like, I misunderstood that whole situation. I was like, I thought he just got that. But so, okay, he's good.
I didn't mean to laugh at you that hard.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. All right, I like the Swole Walker, the one that almost killed Negan, which was fucked up because no one came to help him.
No one came to help him.
Yeah.
Everyone just stayed there and just stared.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if they were going to help him, but I know when he turned around,
they were just staring.
They were just staring at him.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Well, that's why when he said originally to Daryl, like, you're in on it, he thinks...
Well, he didn't say it to Daryl.
Yeah, he didn't say it. He said it under his breath.
Under his breath, like, okay, you're in on it.
Mm-hmm. All right, dislikes. And maybe I misunderstood, so just go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong. But it's a dislike that if they went to Maggie's old town where the people got slaughtered, blah, blah, blah. But if that's the case, then why is this grave here? Are you telling me every day they went inside out of their community, they walked past this grave? And if so, why do they have to kill the walkers now? Like, I didn't get that mass grave if this is where they stayed.
Well, apparently that happened before. I'm thinking it happened before the fall. I mean, that's what they kept saying, before the fall. Yeah,
well, then how is the grave still there if this is her town where she lived? Aren't they going back to the community that they had to run from?
I'm not sure where they're going back to.
At least that's what I thought she said. She said our community had plenty of water, we're going to go back.
I'm not sure if that's the community, or I'm not sure if this is the first time she's been down there. Because why does she need Negan?
Well, that too, yes. Well, that's what he said. He said no one else knows how to read a map, so Negan's onto something. Is she going to offer Negan up?
I think she's going to offer everyone up.
Like, all her people, not her people, not her new people.
Not her new people.
But is her new people going to be okay with that? Because I
think so.
You think so?
I don't think Maggie's, and I keep saying this, and I know, it sounds like a broken record. Maggie is not one of us anymore. If you think about it, Negan killed her husband. Mm-hmm. We're gonna call him her husband.
They let him live.
They let him live. When she came back,
he's walking around free.
In fact, I think she's still angry they let him live. They kept him alive. They let him live. I mean, I know she's so angry. Like, who do y'all want? Y'all want another community? Y'all want people? I got people for you.
Right.
Because this is my new family now.
That would be pretty fucked up. And I wonder if fans, including myself, like how we would feel about that.
I'm not a fan.
No, I mean, of just the show, because it's one thing like when we had in season, I think 5, when they first got to Alexandria and Deanne's son was like an asshole and tried to kill Glenn, like all that stuff that was going on and those other guys there. And it's like, it's one thing if someone you don't know betrays you, but it's something else if someone that's been with the group for so long. Maggie was only missing for like a season. So for her to change on us that big, it would change the whole rewatch of the series.
Well, you have to think about how miserable she was. Maggie didn't leave because she wanted to leave. Maggie left because she had to. Maggie was so miserable. And you have to think about all that stress. She have a baby. The father of the baby was slaughtered by this guy that she has to look at every single day. The people that she called family let this guy live. Let this guy stay there. Yeah. I mean, you could turn anybody into a villain.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like it would be hard to rewatch the series if you know that's how Maggie becomes.
Nah, not me. I remember one time somebody ate my lunch out the work refrigerator. You talk about I became a villain quick. I became how's everybody doing? To looking at everybody crazy. Not trusting any. I would have gave all of them up.
I don't know. I think, like, thinking about, like, how Game of Thrones went and everything like that, and when, I don't know, when there's certain things that once something happens and based on how a series ends, it seems like it would be difficult to just continue rewatching.
It's a different situation. With Game of Thrones, it happened so sudden. Like, there was no reason for it. In this, there's all the reason. I mean, what they did was fucked up. Even though Negan was a big character for the fans,
right?
What your family and friends did by letting him live and not giving you that choice, that's big.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into some listener letters and seeing what we got here. Remember, if you at all would like to be part of the podcast, hit us up, dead@theverdictsin.com. That's dead@theverdictsin.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @theverdictsin and facebook.com/verdictsin. And we are excited to, our next show for sure is going to be American Crime, the impeachment story, I believe, with Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton, that scandal. So if you're probably under 40, you probably don't remember the full details of the story. So we're actually really excited to talk about it.
I don't think it's just under 40. I think if you're under probably 45.
Under 45, then you don't know the details. Or the full details.
The full details, yeah.
Yeah. So we should be doing a podcast soon, like a preview podcast on just what we think of the story, what we think we know. And then we'll, of course, watch the show and see what they show us. And then maybe we might do our own, like, real research on it. Who knows?
Right.
But I'm excited for it. American Crime has been really good. And there's another show I just saw.
American Crime has been good to us. I mean, yes. the People vs. OJ.
Go back. We did do the People vs. OJ about 5 or 6 years ago.
Right. And what was the other one?
The other ones were not those. Okay, so there's American Crime Story.
Okay, we did.
And then there's both. American Crime. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? We thought about doing the other one with Versace. But you know, I tried to go back and rewatch it, and I still cannot get into it.
Yeah, I never got into it. I didn't know anything about Versace. So, but I mean, I've watched a few episodes. We watched a few episodes, but... And for some reason, I'm just going to go ahead and say, I'm not really a fan of the main character, that guy that was on, I can't think of his name, but he played on Glee, I believe. I don't know. He's played in a few things, and every time I see him, I just feel like his acting is just, like, overacting. If he's sad, he's over sad. If he's mad, he's over mad. It's just a little too much for me. But he got praised for that show, so it may just be me not being a fan of his work.
Yeah, I just couldn't get into it.
All right, so... Sorry, go ahead.
No, and I don't remember him from Glee.
Yeah, he was on... I want to say, yeah, he was definitely on Glee. Like, the years, at least when they went to college, for sure. All right, so we have an email today from Chantel. Hey, Chantel.
What's up, Chantel?
How are you guys doing? I'm so excited that our show is finally back. I don't know what I'm going to do when it is all over. I really enjoyed Sunday's episode, and I'm excited to see where it will go from here. Here are my thoughts. I was super excited, so I have a lot. Feel free to edit. I won't be offended at all. And I think we're going to be able to get all this in. And yeah, Sunday, I'm so happy for it to be back. I was really disappointed that we didn't get to do an instant cast because it definitely deserved one.
It did. I mean, like I said, this was better than the whole last season.
Yeah.
I mean, last season we were almost out the game into the Princess episode.
Right. I don't think we went to like pod last season.
I think Princess revived us.
Yeah.
It was like she was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And there is another show. I can't think of the title, but I just saw the trailer, Gary, and I want to show you. But it's an FX series show that comes out like in 2 weeks and sometime in September. And it looks good, like from the trailer. So I'm like, oh, we should check that out. Maybe even pod on that. But I don't want to overextend ourselves if we're also going to be doing the impeachment story, which is, I think, starts next month as well. But either way, once I find out the show, I'll recommend it next podcast if I see the trailer again as a good option. All right, excuse me. She says, the cold open. Oh my God, I love the shot of Daryl standing alone. His vest almost seemed to glow. To me, it signaled how far he's come. From a scrappy, annoying redneck follower to a full-fledged leader. The shot was almost regal. When they rappelled down into the building, I was stressed. We all know at least some of those bodies were actually walkers, but when we saw all of them were, child, I have to say, the entire time I watched this scene, I thought, Carol, please don't do anything reckless. Since last season, I'm on edge anytime she's on scene. I'm just waiting for foolishness to ensue. This time, I don't know if she was reckless or smart. They needed that food. Did you guys notice that there was little to no actual dialogue in that scene? It really added to the intensity and showed how well our group works together. They really were a well-oiled machine.
Carol's going to Carol.
Yeah.
Carol is going to be Carol. And that's my thing. When anybody do something reckless or crazy, I was like, oh, look at them caroling.
Yeah.
It was a dope scene, but I can't put Daryl in like the full leader role. I mean, he followed then, and to me, he's still following now. I don't think that Daryl, he followed his brother. He followed Rick. He followed Carol. He gave up on Carol. He went after followed the next person. Now he's back. Now he's following who? Maggie. So Daryl is still in that. Daryl has grown into himself. He knows who he is. But I don't think Daryl was meant to be a leader. That's not his role.
I'll just start off with saying nothing's wrong with being a follower. Not that you were implying
nothing.
so. What they say, too many cooks, or I think the expression is actually wrong now. I was going to say
it almost sounds right.
No, it's
too
like
many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. But there's also one like too many Indians, not enough chiefs or something. And I don't know if that's
everybody want to be a chief
anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that's appropriate. And then you had me repeating it. Stop.
Sorry, I don't know, because as soon as I said it, and I'm like, wait, I'm getting two different. You get the idea though. Nothing's wrong with being a follower. Every leader needs a follower. But in the case of Daryl, I do agree with you in that expression by saying, yeah, he's not a leader. I think they tried to make him one when Rick left, but I don't see Daryl as the leader. I don't even see him as the star of the show.
I think they tried to make him one while Rick was still here. Remember him and Rick had the little beef back and forth?
Right.
Like, it started to be tension right there. Like, he no longer trusted Rick because he thought Rick was getting too soft. Yeah. Rick wasn't leader enough for him.
Yeah. Well, remember, almost the last thing he did before Rick, quote unquote, died or disappeared, he betrayed Rick. He betrayed Rick by helping Maggie. Remember, they did a fake run. Remember, he took Rick on a mission, Mission Goose, whatever the expression. I'm not good with my expressions tonight. Yeah. Whatever.
You gotta get that expression
down. I know. Right. I gotta get those expressions down right. Okay, whatever. He took him on a goose chase or whatever. And
let's say he sent him on a dummy mission.
Okay, he took him on a dummy mission, and that's when Maggie went and tried to kill Negan and had her Michonne. Michonne's like, fuck it, do it then. And then she ended up not doing it. But all that, what I'm saying is that's the last thing he pretty much did to Rick was betray him. We'll see. He's willing to betray, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. As far as his vest and everything, and it's glowing. I saw that, and honestly, upon first watch, I didn't like it. I was like, oh, this is too artsy. The background looked fake. It just looked too perfect. It looked too pretty. Like the coloring scheme was so pretty. It was just too much.
Oh, you wildin'. That scene was the bum.
I thought it was like too artsy.
Now, I say that he's not meant to be a leader, but that scene was everything.
No, that whole scene was. I'm talking about when it first came on. It shows his
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
but the then vest,
we watched wings. The after show or whatever with the producers and I think it was Angela King or somebody. They were talking about how Judith repainted his vest last season, and I'm like, oh shoot, these little details that I, as a viewer forgot about, they remembered.
I didn't see the after show.
You didn't see? Oh, maybe. No. Oh, I watched it the second time.
Oh, okay.
No, you there watch it. I don't know. I watched it. I watched an after show.
No,
I thought you watched the second time with me too.
I didn't watch the second time.
Oh, okay. So it was after that I watched it, and she talked about that, and I was like, oh, those details, it made me like it then, because I'm like, I didn't know what that was. Why his vest? I was like, why is his vest so colorful? So I'm like, oh, they're trying to be artsy, but then it made sense that Judith painted it. Other than that, I thought the whole scene was cool, and yeah, the same thing with Carol. I'm not trying to be long-winded here. I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, what? Carol's gonna fuck up. I just knew with her being there. I'm like, what is she gonna do?
Carol don't Carol.
Carol don't Carol.
What's that kid? Swiper don't swipe me. Yeah. Carol don't Carol.
Carol don't Carol.
Carol don't Carol.
All right, so Alexandria. Alexandria is a mess, and I don't know if it can be salvaged. I do appreciate that they took the time to explain why they are so short on food there, and why they can't simply replant their crops and hunt. I love seeing RJ and Judith running to welcome Uncle Daryl. I hope they give RJ more to do this season. People on the internet are so savage when they talk about that poor kid. Oh no. Are they talking? Well, people, they got no shame. Why are you talking about kid? I didn't even see
People don't people.
People don't people. Humans don't human, damn it. All right, she continues. When everyone returned to Alexandria from getting the food, why was Negan acting like he couldn't look Maggie in the eye? The last time we saw them in a scene together, he was staring at her and giving her that annoying smirk.
Yeah, he gave her an annoying smirk.
And then he bucks up when he's in the tunnel. Does his shame come and go, or is it kind of wild? It's kind of wild to me that Maggie knew of a place that had food and supplies and is just now saying something. I understand the danger surrounding a trip to Meridian, but it appears that circumstances have been pretty dire at Alexandria for a while. If there is an embarrassment of riches in Meridian, why send Gabe and Aaron on the wild goose chase last season? Why not gather a group and go straight to Meridian? Those Reapers must be utterly terrifying to make Maggie say nothing until now.
Well, let me go back to the Negan. Why Negan bucks up when it comes and goes. I think Negan, sometimes you have to, that's your defense mechanism. Sometimes you have to say, okay, say something. Negan, say something. And then when he says something, he have to make sure his voice don't stagger, make sure he don't sound scared when he say it. He has to come off like that to let him know that, hey, I know what's going on. I'm not scared of you. Yeah. Although Negan is scared right now.
Yeah, he is. He was the only one making sense that whole time while they were in that cave.
He was.
Now, the people that ended up leaving, I don't know why they took their supplies, and then at the same time, why were they holding, I don't know.
They're not going to need it.
The people in the back were holding the supplies.
I mean, if I leave you and I leave with the supplies, that means I know that you're going on a death mission.
Yeah, like, you ain't going to need it.
You're not going to need this anymore. Yeah. Let me get my smart ass out of here.
All right, the Commonwealth. I was so happy that they didn't make us wait until next week to find out what was going on with King E's group. I love the interrogation scene. Eugene was peak Eugene, remembering every zip code he's ever resided in. Yumiko is impressive as usual, Oxford and Harvard Law, and getting arrested during protests. Okay, Yumi, we see you. Princess was so awkwardly truthful and genuine. Something about her makes me smile and breaks my heart at the same time. I'm so in love with this character. And King E, when he asked Hot Mercer if he was in charge, I half expected him to say, "So are you the head Negro in charge?" That would have been so good. But The Walking Dead would have not been like, right. They don't have the guts to do it.
But I hate to do this again, but I want to go back to what she said about Maggie. Like, if you knew this and you knew where the food was, then why send them out there? Because she's saying Daryl and what's the other guy name?
Daryl and not Daryl. Pastor Gabriel and Aaron.
Oh, Pastor Gabriel and Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sent them out there, and you knew where the food was all along. I do not trust Maggie.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that was not her first choice because it was like, oh, that's a dangerous mission. Let's try other things before.
I think Maggie eased in there. She helped them fight a little bit, just enough, just a tiny bit. She helped them fight just enough, let them know that, oh, I'm still Maggie. I'm Maggie from the block. But Maggie has other motives. There's something going on. Maggie probably got married while she was out. She probably, whoever the mercenary is, probably have her man, have her new man.
Yeah, wait, where is the guy from last season that Maggie originally arrived with? Did we see him this week? He was talking a lot. He was doing a lot of talking. Not the guy with the mask. It was like a white guy that did a lot of talking. He seemed like he could possibly be a love interest.
Could be the new boo thing?
Yeah, new boo thing. Nah. But he wasn't there, I want to say.
Nah. Whoever the mercenaries, whoever those guys are, they have a real man.
Okay.
And I'm not starting rumors, people.
Yeah.
But I'm starting rumors, people.
All right.
I think Maggie, whoever she left him for, Maggie built a bigger bond with the people she's with now. And that's why, what's the chances of her and the people who got out with her made it out. The people who came with her, they were on a mission. They were on a mission to go get Daryl, Carol, and all the other people and bring them back. She's probably mad that Rick is not there because she would love to bring him back with her.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, she continues, and this is on the Commonwealth, and she's talking about the king to the Mercer. She goes, his tone definitely conveyed that when he turned his chair toward Mercer, his whole demeanor changed. He leaned back and put a different level of bass in his voice. He took on a swagger that you only display when you're dealing with your, quote unquote, your people in certain situation. Yeah. It was a subtle, very nuanced code switch. And Mercer's reaction was pretty great too. I kind of did notice that his tone changed and
the whole swag changed, baby.
The swag changed. I don't know. Sometimes it's a weird thing because like they talked about like on the very first episode of Blackish, like the nod that you do. And,
the nod's a real thing.
But sometimes, and correct me if I'm wrong with saying this, I don't know if I like when people are like a little too comfortable with me. Like if
what?
like you don't know me. I'm just thinking of like I don't want to say anybody's name out here, but like I don't know. I don't know how to use an example, but like okay. I love that, like, with black culture, black people, like they said on Blackish, you can see someone and go, there's a TikTok on it, where they're like, a new black person starts at work, let's see if he's one of us. And then, like, you can tell if it's one of us or not one of us, right. And you know what I mean by one of us. But then there's, like, the black people that get too, like, just, like, they see you, and then they just start talking too comfortable. I can't,
you know what?
I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't mind that.
Okay.
What I do mind, and I hate to put this out here like that. I hate when white people get too comfortable with me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When white people see me, I see them shake Jake's hand, shake this, and say,
yeah. And then,
what's up, Gary? High five, dip it up, like motherfucker. Right?
Keeping it real wrong. I think it's a little. You definitely don't want a white person to come up and just like the white girls that I work with, not necessarily in my like just that I interact with, when they be like, "Hey girl, hey," and I'm like, "Do not hey girl, hey me." Like in my head, that's what I be thinking. But then I don't know. It happens both ways where it's just like sometimes too comfortable, like coming up and then they're just talking 2 minutes. Like, damn, you don't even know me. Chill. Like, I don't know. I
love that. I love that part.
Okay. All right.
And that's the thing when they said, I wonder if he's one of us.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't want to be I wonder if she's one of us, and I'm not one of us. I am one of us, but at the same time, like, chill. We don't gotta just chill. Like, just I don't know. Take it easy. Can we get to know each other?
What?
I don't know. I'm probably not describing it right.
So you're one of those that's not one of us.
No, I'm definitely one of us.
I'm joking with you.
All right, but let's continue here. She goes, were you guys upset that E didn't tell the truth about his tumor? No, because he fooled me. On one hand, I totally get it. He doesn't want them to think he is a health liability. But on the other, if these people are high tech, they may have a way to treat his illness. His lie may have sealed his fate. And then she goes, what do you think the purpose of those questions were? Some seem important, others didn't. Were they trying to wear our group down? Psychological warfare? There is no way that the Commonwealth can do a real background check. So if our people are good liars, how can the Commonwealth really know? Remember, Eugene was a good enough liar to make us believe he was a scientist in the Human Genome Project. Lastly, what the hell is reprocessing? Torture?
Well, Eugene actually didn't lie. I mean, he may not have been a scientist as in the scientist, like we know that's in the lab with the lab coat and all the other stuff. I mean, he actually, he did lie.
He did lie. I was like, you're stretching it.
But Eugene knew a lot of stuff that could make him a great brain. It could be a scientist. He knew how to make bullets. He knew the formula for that. I mean, Eugene knows a lot where he's a very smart person. He may not be the scientist that we think of when we think scientist. But, I mean, this dude be in the lab. This dude creating stuff. He hook up the whole microphone and the communication system.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean he knows all the stuff about like the Genome Project and real shit.
But you have to think about this. Like, if the lights got turned off right now and we were in The Walking Dead, how many of us can do what Eugene does?
Not many. I wouldn't know what to do.
I can't do shit.
Yeah.
The lights get turned off.
I would have a flashlight.
we are barricade ourselves in this house.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess now, especially with everything that's happened in the last year, and there's all these like self-proclaimed experts on certain topics and subjects, I feel like there's a lot of Eugenes out there. So I don't want to give credit just because like you've read a whole bunch of books and you like know a little bit about a lot of bullshit that you know what you're talking about.
I want to give credit because not a lot of people read. Yeah,
but Eugene, like, just because he spoke a lot of bullshit doesn't really mean it was true. Like, he talked a lot of this and a lot of that, you know?
Right.
But, I mean, he not saying he's stupid. He knew how to make the fake bullets. He's been helpful. But let's not forget that Eugene also is a traitor.
Oh, you bringing up old stuff.
I'm bringing up old stuff. You're speculating that Maggie's a traitor. We know for sure Eugene's a traitor.
I'm almost not speculating. I actually believe Maggie's a traitor.
And then, well, to answer Chantel's question about what is reprocessing, I don't even know. Like, part of me feels like this Commonwealth, all that reprocessing and those people just walking by, I feel like it's sort of like fake. Until we saw them in the room and
the thing is, I mean, there's no real background checks right now. There's none of that. But one thing that for some reason people believe, like when you apply for a job now they make you take an assessment. Mm-hmm. In the assessment, they ask you the same damn question over and over in different ways. And, you know, sometimes you fall for it.
How many times have you stole? None. When's the last time you stole? Wait, I already told you I never stole. Leave me alone. And then you say last week. And they're like, I got you.
Or the next question would be, when you stole, was it one?
Yeah,
was it two?
Yeah. If you steal just a candy bar, is it really a big deal? Like, I'm like, you guys stop.
So the reprocessing and these questions they're asking, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to ask people the same question many different ways.
Yeah.
And that's why the people who called on were probably like, wait a minute, you're asking the same thing. You already asked that. 7 hours is excessive.
Yeah, very much.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like the old school integration.
Yeah, interrogation.
Damn, integration.
Interrogation is like what you're supposed to have if they want you to get the job. Like, do you have a good interrogation? I don't know. I'm using it wrong in a sentence.
But anyways, interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
That's that old school where after a while people break down and start admitting the shit that never happened.
Yeah.
Like they never did. Like, yeah, it was me.
Oh, that's how you get false confessions.
False confessions, yes.
Yeah, because at 7 hours, I would have just said whatever you want. Like, what do you need to hear? Because I'm tired.
Not me.
Oh, definitely. You broke me a long time ago.
But the thing is, you wouldn't have broke me. I would have been through talking.
I'm like, yeah, I don't need that bad.
Yeah, I'm not answering the same. I mean, what they're offering right now, they're giving me a meal, a shelter. I'm not about to sit here and answer your question for 7 hours. Man, you're lucky if you get a good 20 minutes out of me.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like when you said job applications. You start reading all this. Like, I'm not answering all these. I don't want the job that damn bad. You just don't even apply. And maybe that is what they want. They weed out the people who really want it.
Right.
All right. She goes the subway. On the way to DC, the group treats Negan the way he deserves to be treated. But I found myself feeling pretty bad for him. That bunny that they found in the subway reminded me of the bunny Rick found when he found Gracie. And that we see either Gracie or Judith holding in Rick's dream sequence a few seasons back with the old man Rick dream. Were they trying to telegraph that Rick is coming soon? Or since the bunny is dropped and stepped on, are they telling us, nope, not gonna happen? Or is it just the bunny? LOL.
Maggie's seen that bunny before.
She did hold it long and stare at it.
Maggie's seen that bunny before. Yeah. You know, that wasn't a coincidence that they showed the bunny.
Yeah.
I do not trust Maggie.
Yeah, you're right. Because she did hold... I was like, what the fuck? Why is she holding this bunny so long? Like, there's been kids have dropped toys. It's the pandemic. Not pandemic. It's a, whatever, apocalypse. And it's apocalypse, and yeah, there's bunnies. There's gonna be kids' toys that you're gonna see all the time that a kid dropped and then run. So I didn't see what the significance of this bunny was, but yeah, maybe there's something more to it.
And I think they were a little heavy-handed with how they're treating Negan. Like Negan said about
bumping into him and
right,
all that shit.
And like I said, or like Negan said about the other guy, you know, the other guy who said, you know, want to come in there and shut you up. Yo, you were just my friend. you were just kicking.
You were just my subordinate.
You were just one of us.
You were just kneeling to me a few years back. When I told you to kneel, you kneeled.
Well, you know, I guess I can't understand.
But you know what? I get
it. You gotta remember that. Like, yo, who said that? Somebody said that. Like, what do you like calling a grown man boss? He said, what a grown man look like calling another grown man boss.
Yeah, Alden feeling bad that he used to say that to me.
I'm saying that, I mean, I never thought about it. Because, you know, I'd be at home like, yeah, but after he said that, I'm like, hold up. You know, I have to catch myself when I say it like, yeah. The guy over it.
You know, my supervisor. I use the word supervisor.
I don't even use that anymore. I say, yeah, the guy that's over everything. like it's not me, like it excluded me. Like, yeah, you know. Yeah. But I mean, I guess you gotta feel some type of way. Like, okay, I was just kneeling to him. He had all the girls. I didn't have one.
Yeah.
Cause Negan, I mean, he was wrong in that sense. When he got there, you know, he took all the women, and he just had leftovers.
Yeah.
If any,
he took the women hostage. Literally, they were.
Okay.
So let's not even get on that.
Yeah, let's not get on that.
We've talked about that so many times.
Right.
All right. So let me finish the subway part here. She says, I'm not surprised that no one helped Negan after he saved that kid, but I still felt bad for him. And I was with him when he started checking Maggie. He was making a lot of sense up until he said something about being named. Oh, about being, hold on. I lost my scene. About being killed like a dog, like Glenn did. My head snapped back and I clutched my pearls. How very dare him. I think he was trying to push Maggie's button so she would take her shot at him and get it over with, but still. Glenn's name should never come out of Negan's mouth. Never. I agree. And I think he was doing it because he was like, fuck, they're going to kill me. Just let it get over.
I think he did to get a reaction.
Yeah. Do you guys think the two guys who disappeared actually took off with the supplies? Or do you think they were snatched up by the Reapers? One of the guys, a well-known actor, I don't know if she's calling him C actor or Thomas Howell. He was in one episode a few seasons back, and then we never saw him again. Would they really bring someone like him back on the show just to have him run off? There has to be more there, right? Maggie had a lot of damn nerve to call out Negan for help shortly after pulling the gun on him. But he was so wrong for leaving her hanging. How the hell is he going to explain her absence when he gets into the train car and she isn't with him? And how is she going to survive? They better not have her hiding under the train car like Glenn under the dumpster. All right. So much to say there, but go ahead, Gary.
And I guess what I'm about to say is not the popular thing or not what most people are thinking. I would have left her ass also. And not just because I'm saying that I don't trust her. I'm saying it's human nature. You know that this person is trying to kill you. Or he has a strong feeling. He doesn't know for a fact, but he has a strong feeling that she's trying to kill him because none of this is making sense. Like he said, nobody can read a map. Why did I have to come? There's no reason for that. When he was fighting the zombie, she sat back and watched. Now she's going to yell, Negan, help me.
Oh, and then she told him, everyone, like, let's pay attention. He's like, what the fuck? Let's pay attention. This wasn't about not paying attention. Right.
Negan stepped in and said, and then who said, oh, you don't care nothing about him.
Yeah, who gives a fuck if I cared about him or not? I did save him.
I think that was Daryl that said that.
Yeah.
Was it?
Daryl, I think it was. Daryl, Maggie, one of them. Somebody said it.
It wasn't Maggie. It was I hear a male voice.
It might have been the man that left with him. Left with the boy.
Well, somebody said, it's not like you care about him. But I jumped in and I saved him. And when I was struggling, because that was a big walker.
Yeah.
That walker was a built. That walker just got finished lifting weights.
Yeah. Well, what she's saying, what Chantel's saying here, I didn't recognize the guy, but if you're saying yes, he was in episode seasons before and they brought him back, they didn't bring him back just to disappear. Like, we're going to see him definitely for sure again. But I did think that as well. Like, wonder if someone snatched him up. But since they didn't question that happening, it almost immediately left my mind. But with you bringing it up, Chantel, here, I think it's likely that someone took them.
Man, they took themselves up out of there.
Okay.
I don't think anyone took them. I think, after I almost got killed and I saw no one help me but this guy that nobody trusts.
Yeah.
And then people act all nonchalant, like, be careful, look out.
Be careful, look out.
And then, like he said, I think he's an asshole, but he's the only one making sense right now.
Right.
This mission right here is crazy.
So as far as what's going to happen, Maggie, I was thinking the same thing. At this point, I feel like Maggie has to die. There's no way she should be able to survive that with Negan not helping her. And it looked like her hand kind of like fell off. So if they do, I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. But if she's not dead next week, I don't know. I don't want them to do the Glenn fake out thing that they did before.
Make it have to die so we can live.
No, she just has to die because that's what should have happened. If Negan didn't help her and she dropped off, it looked like at the end of the episode her hands dropped off, and I did see scenes from next week's episode. Without, I'm not saying anything, but I feel like they have to just make her dead. And I hate that every big character gets a big death. You don't have to get a big death. It could just be like, oh shit, that person died. Damn.
Yeah.
Even though I know they'd be like, why'd they bring her back? She's just going to die.
I don't think she died. I think she's coming back. I mean, I don't think it would be a show or they could continue on the road they're on if she doesn't come back.
Yeah, because then maybe they would be like, fuck it, let's turn around.
But I 100% agree with Negan. Putting myself in Negan's shoes. It don't matter what I did in my past. I'm not about to let you kill me.
Yeah. I agree. Like, part of me kind of wanted him to help. I was like, oh, maybe if he helps her, she'll let this go. But then at the same time...
But you know what? But then again, he owed her a life.
Yeah.
He took a life from her. He should have saved her life. A life or a life.
And then been like, now we're done. We're even. Well, nothing can never make it even. But...
After I save your life, we should be even.
Yeah,
but...
One could argue that if Negan never came into their lives, they wouldn't be here at this very moment.
But if he wasn't there at that very moment, then he wouldn't be able to save her.
She wouldn't have needed saving if he never came into their life.
If it wasn't Negan and a Negan Knights the Saviors, it would have been other people.
Either way, she wouldn't have even known about this place because she would have never left the group to go to a new to go to a new community to learn about this place to get food.
Let's agree to disagree.
Okay. All right, she has nerd alert. This episode spoke to my nerdy heart. In college, we had to study classical mythology, and this episode hit on a lot. Acheron, the title of the episode, is a river in Hades. The word also means hell or death. Our group has described below ground into the subway hell. There's a constant threat of flood down there, river, and death is most likely going to come for someone in part 2. There's going to be some despair for sure. Otherwise, why name the first 2 episodes that? Maggie's making awful choices and is leading the group further into darkness because she is blinded by her hurt and anger. Negan is like the Greek chorus, commenting on the absurdity of Maggie's choices and the danger that her decisions are putting everyone in. He's literally laying out the tragedy before it happens. I think the promise of food and supplies at Meridian can be viewed as a siren song. It offers hope for our community, but I think pursuing it is going to lead a few people to their doom. Holy shit, y'all, these writers are brilliant. AKA, Chantel, you're brilliant.
Yeah, actually, that was brilliant what you wrote.
Yeah.
That was so poetic.
Yeah. You made it deeper than, made it make sense. Like, oh, shit.
Oh, shit, I need to rewatch this episode.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it. This is deep.
It's deeper than I thought it was.
Right. I think she's right though. Like, you see certain movies. What was that movie we watched? Well, it's happened several times in movies where like people go after the gold, or the money, and then they die on the mission, and only one person actually makes it out with the money, and everyone else died. And it's like, was it worth going after all that money? I mean, it's been done.
That's like
when it set it off.
90% of the movies.
90% of the movies. We just watched one with zombies that's on Netflix, similar to that. Without spoiling, I forgot what the name of the movie was, but it was zombies. So yeah, I kind of feel like that may be happening, and especially kept he's saying with all that noise, And he's like, it's gonna flood, it's gonna flood. I thought they were just gonna get flooded and washed away. And ironically, Maggie will probably be the one that survives, and she'll go back home to her child. All right, she says, random thoughts. Rosita was fighting with that stick like she'd been trained by Morgan. I didn't know Daryl was so adept at knife throwing. Gary mentioned that.
I mentioned that during the episode.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he can throw knives now? Carol gave Daryl the knife back.
They got him with a boomerang next episode. What can Daryl do?
What can he do? Carol gave Daryl the knife back, just like Daryl gave Rick his gun back when he escaped the sanctuary.
I actually call bullshit on that.
Yeah, I did too. Like, you're trying to escape and you got the knives out. I thought it was stupid. I just don't like Carol, though. Anything she does, I'm like, you don't like Carol? Nah, she on some bullshit.
I think everybody needed Carol in their life.
What, somebody's gonna fuck around, mess up the mission?
I mean, that's gonna make life worth living. Where you had to have that friend that you had to keep talking off the edge, like, girl, you need to calm down. Like, everybody has that friend. Like, I have a friend that no matter where we go to, it's gonna be some drama.
They're gonna start a fight.
He's gonna start something. He's gonna do this. In fact, I have to have a pep talk with him before we go in place. Like, hey, we're gonna go in here. We're here to have a good time, baby. We just gonna go in, just drink, dance. We gonna leave. Nope.
All right, she says, why does Dog always have to run off at inopportune moments? Yeah, I forgot that Dog ran off, and honestly, I was surprised that Daryl ran after Dog. Like, come on.
I'm surprised Dog's not a zombie right now.
Yeah, and then why did y'all bring Dog on the mission? That'd make no sense.
I mean, all you had to do is outrun Dog.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I think it's animal. I think it's animal cruelty
to bring them on the trip
to have pets during this time. Well, pets that you're bringing outside with you, because you know if something happened, you're not going to try to save the pet. You have your pet trying to save you.
Well, I mean, obviously he tried to save the pet.
Your pet is like a decoy. You know, I hope people don't think this sounds so bad. It sounds so bad.
No, I know what you mean. You bring the dog and then if shit gets real.
Hopefully a dog attack give me a chance to get away.
That's fucked up.
That's messed up, but
I think it's kind of gross to bring the dog because, like, isn't the dog gonna be like licking blood, licking the zombie crap, and like, you know, just walking around licking shit?
You act like dogs just walk around just like they're just savages. Like they just walk around licking zombies or whatever.
They may walk around and lick a little blood off a zombie. I don't know.
You never had a pet growing up, have you?
I never had a dog, but I see them licking. So anywho, she says, I love that Princess knew all about the guards. Oh, that was so funny. I don't know how we forgot about that. That was a moment of levity that we needed. Right. Yes. Yeah. Like, she like had the whole storyline. Like they see, because the king was like, they're not even looking at each other. She's like, no, that's the part of it. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Okay. I think a major character is going to die next week. Maybe Dog. Daryl will lose his shit, or maybe Gabriel. They made it a point to show Rosita cut Gabriel a look when he volunteered to go. Yeah, that's fucked up. Because she already lost the father to her child. Gabriel is helping her raise that child. He knows this is a dummy mission. Why go and leave her and the baby alone? I never liked Rosita and Gabriel. I wanted somebody different for her anyway, so. Not saying that's a good reason to kill Gabriel, but I don't know. I liked her and Sadiq. I mean, we never saw her and Sadiq really together, but I would have liked that.
I think Rosita is a good first lady.
And who first lady? Oh, like a church first lady? I was like, well, who's the president? Okay. Yeah, I don't. Do you guys think that Rick will come back before the finale? Michonne, will those movies ever happen? Who knows? I don't know. And then hold on. She has one more thing. My last bit of randomness. Woke Walking Dead. Did you guys know she did talk about it. Did you guys notice the poster on the ground that everyone stepped over that says something like, America does not tolerate racism? And when E called Mercer a beat cop for a fascist in a pumpkin colored suit, the social commentary, whoa. Okay, for all this time, that's all I have. Thank you, Chantel.
And we spoke about it.
Yeah, we spoke about it while we were watching. I don't know why it was not in my notes to talk about. Because, and like she said, everyone stepped over that America does not tolerate racism. I'm sorry, this was supposed to be what? 2000, the world went to shit 2010 in this world, right? 2010, 2009, somewhere, whenever Walking Dead started. So this poster had to have been made 2010 or earlier. America does not tolerate racism. They tolerate that shit now. Yeah, they've been tolerating it forever.
I'm about to say, I don't care if it was made in 2021.
2021. That's a damn lie. And that's why maybe them stepping over it was like, that's bullshit. I mean, I do appreciate, I'm not here to bash the show. I do appreciate them for bringing it in. Although sometimes I hate when shows bring real world subjects in. Like, even shows talk about COVID. I'm like, no, stop talking about COVID. Or when they would talk about Trump, when Trump was off, no, don't talk about real world. I'm watching you to get away from real world. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can see when you watch something to escape. Yeah. And they bring up some real stuff.
Yeah.
They'll bring you back to reality.
Yeah. Because when I saw it, I was like, I got mad. I was like, what the fuck? No, they don't. They do tolerate it. They love it.
Yeah, but to talk about something different. The movie I Am Legend. And this is just talk about COVID and everything. Remember at the beginning of the movie on the news, and I know this may have been discussed before, but I mean, I just seen this recently, that remember everybody took a vaccine. Remember, that's how the movie started. The movie started on the news where they was like, this is happening, everybody have to take a vaccine. And that shit then turned people like zombies and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, what we found out, that's like the Walking Dead story.
Well, in The Walking Dead, it didn't show anything that was going on prior to the fall.
So I wonder how everyone, because remember, they said
it's in all of us.
It's in all of us.
But it's in all of them.
So I wonder, why is it in all of us? Are we going to find out later that maybe it was some kind of vaccine to, anything, you took as a child or...
I think it's too late for them to try to bring that storyline in. That would have been cool, but if they try to bring it in now, it's going to be like, okay, it's one of these stories. Because the same thing has been done on different things. I'm watching the TV show 12 Monkeys that came out years ago, and they're talking about, this is years ago when this came out, and they're talking about pandemics and trying to curb and trying to quarantine and da-da-da, and everything they're talking about, I'm like, oh my gosh, and they're like, if this thing gets out and people start getting on planes and da-da-da, so like, you can kind of draw anything into television and movies and kind of try to make comparisons, but all it is just TV, and then this is real life, so...
I think everything is based off reality or some type of reality.
Maybe. But the last thing she mentioned was the fastest cop and everything. Like, she's like, power trip. And I actually liked that part. And I did wonder if, like, people would get offended or, like the Blue Lives Matter team would get offended by, calling Mercer what he is. I mean, well, we don't know if he was a cop in his previous life, but he obviously is, like, on some power, like, the way he's standing and, like, I'm so cool, I don't even have to talk, blah, blah, blah. Like, and even later on when they're walking past him, the group walking past him, and he's, like, standing over some guy, like, really close, like, standing over him, like, he's in power, he's in control.
Yeah. And like I said, that's a crazy... I'm about to say integration. What's the word again?
Integration.
Yeah, okay, I'm right this time.
Yeah.
So that's like some crazy integration, like.
No, or is it interrogation?
Interrogation. There you go. I know people listening like, what is wrong with this?
Pick up a fucking book, put that show down. I know.
Yeah, I'm saying, If
you don't use that word often, you won't remember it.
No, we should remember that word.
How often do you use the word interrogation in your everyday conversation? I haven't used that word in years.
And you sit here co-signing me a little bit like,
yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, Gary, that's the one. But yeah, I mean, that's that technique he was using that was outlawed, and you see he's still using it.
Yeah. I mean, he might be ex-military. He might not have necessarily been police, but I think he was some type of law enforcement or somebody that had,
one thing about The Walking Dead, everything is nothing what it seems.
Right.
Like right now, in the scene that we're watching right now with the, everything, what is it called? It's not the compound. It's wherever they at right now.
The Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth. I'm wondering, is this still a part of Prince's imagination?
Oh, yeah. She was imagining last year.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wonder, is she out of that? Is she still imagining this? Are they even there?
Right. Yeah, she might have not even met them. Remember? She's like, they met me and we liked it and they loved me when they were interrogating. She might have saw them and met them.
She might have met him and they chose like, oh, this girl's crazy and went their own way.
Yeah, and then she might have imagined like, this is what would happen if we really met each other. They took me in. So yeah, that's actually an awesome theory. All right, well, thank you so much, Chantel. That was an awesome letter. So many things that we forgot to discuss. So I'm glad you wrote in. And once again, we love to hear from all you. dead@theverdictsin.com. Hit us up on Twitter. We'll discuss your feedback there at the Verdictsin, I believe. And then facebook.com/verdictsin. Real quick, Gary, I ain't fearing shit. Who do you got this week?
Oh, come on. It has to be the king. The king, what it could be a lot of people. It could be Negan at this point. When Negan stepped in and fought the musclehead zombie. No, I'm going to go back to the king.
Okay.
I mean, the king, he's in unfamiliar territory, and he chose to stand up and put some bass in his voice.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you in charge. Why are we here?
Right.
And like, what is his name? Eugene said, I can't believe you. No, he didn't. Princess said that. I can't believe you told off the person in charge.
Yeah.
And Eugene was like, oh, like it was a bad idea. Why'd you do that? So I think the king is not fearing shit. The king is just done with it. He's over it. He's really over it, because if he don't get medication or get that thing removed, he's over. Who you got?
Yeah, well, going back to what Chantel wrote about, like, the head, in charge, I kind of wish they would have actually, they wouldn't have to say the word, but there's an abbreviation for it. Is it HNIG? There was like an abbreviation I thought.
I want the last letter be G. Yeah.
Oh. I'm slow today. I don't know. HNIC then? I don't know. There was like an abbreviation. Is that the abbreviation?
That's it.
And I would have appreciated if they used that abbreviation and with no explanation, because that would have got Twitter talking. And it's just like, I don't know if it's a expression that people use now. It seems like that's something like previous generations used to use.
It was.
But it would have still just been fun commentary for like Black culture to be like, oh shit, this is what he meant by that.
Yeah, look at me clowning you like I even mess up all that.
I know, look at me.
I can't get
Integration. No, whatever that word is. Interrogation.
I can't even get that word.
Yeah. Interrogation and integration, like two completely different meanings.
It means two different things. Yeah, Gary, that's the one.
Yeah,
use that one.
It sounded right.
It's right.
There's gonna be people that say I'm not listening to their dumbasses anymore. All right, so I ain't fearing shit. I'm gonna give it to Negan because he was just fed up. Yeah, like it was cool and brave of King Ezekiel to say what he said, but like he was sort of more in what I want to call a safe space.
I have to disagree with you. I think Negan said that because he was fearing a lot. He was fearing a whole lot of shit. I don't think he came out and said that because he was fearless in the situation. Negan said that because especially when somebody start talking loud because they want to get it all out in the open in front of everybody. Oh, you want to fight me right now? People talk loud because there's people around and maybe somebody will come and get between you and break it up.
Well, according to Mercer, he told King Ezekiel that he looked scared to him, so King Ezekiel might not been so fearless either. So I'm gonna stick with Negan. I'm thinking of that TikTok. Do you see that TikTok where he goes, "Is that your man? That's my man. I'm gonna stay beside him." You don't watch TikTok.
I saw that.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna stick beside him.
I saw it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. See, YouTube, they just copy the stuff from TikTok, but yeah, that's my man, and I'm gonna stick with him. That's it. Negan. I ain't fearing shit.
Okay.
Most likely to die. Who you got next week? There's only one real answer.
What, dog?
Nah, they ain't gonna have dog die. There would be an uproar.
I know Chantel got dog in my head.
Man, Chantel,
and it will be an uproar.
No, they cannot let dog die. There could be like 1 million people they kill in that episode, but they better not let dog die.
They can bring Rick back and kill him.
They can do a whole lot. Poor little Judith might be able to die before dog. You know how it is. So, who do you got though?
I mean, I'm sticking with dog.
Oh, you really are.
I think that'll get the tears rolling.
Oh yeah, the tears rolling. Ugh. I hate when they do the sad dog die death. It's just like too much in TV shows. Even I just watched Marley and Me a couple weeks ago. Not my first time, but it really was sad. Spoiler alert, if you never watch Marley and Me, at the end when Marley dies, I was like, oh, that's so sad. That dog was hella bad, though. So bad. You ever watch Marley and Me?
That is a spoiler.
How? That movie came like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't know Marley died.
Then you've never seen the movie.
I've never seen the movie.
Oh, well, you're missing out. It's a good movie. Go ahead and watch it. So...
Man, I don't want to watch it now.
Spoiler, Marley dies. Okay, anywho, for my most likely to die, I'm going to give it to Maggie because there's no reason why she shouldn't have died. I'm not saying I want her to die, but she should be dead.
I don't think they would kill Maggie. Not right now. I think Maggie might be they really have to show us Maggie's plan. So they have to keep her alive.
Yeah.
It's just turned into a horror movie.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to keep walking and Maggie going to come out of nowhere with a big knife, with a steak knife. Not a steak knife, with a butcher knife.
She's going to be like, I'm sorry, I had to. I had no choice. Well, you know, we needed shelter. This is what they said. I have Herschel. I have to take care of him. I'm sorry. You know, y'all would have did it too if you had to. I can start to see her betray her people. And that would piss me off because now how do you rewatch the series knowing that Maggie does this?
That's how you rewatch it. Look back at old times like, oh, she started off so good.
I don't think I would be able to. All right, that is all we got this week. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode like we did. We should be back Sunday evening as long as I don't take no late evening nap with the instant cast.
Hibernation.
And be on the lookout for when the impeachment comes out. We'll be on our Verdicts In feed. The American Crime Impeachment story. All right, until then, I'm Nicole.
I'm Gary.
Bye.